The Iowa Nut Growers Association has been conducting an annual nut evaluation since 1965. The current scorecard was put together by Archie Sparks, Al Ferguson, and other prominent nut growers in the 1970s. Nuts are evaluated using score sheets that factor in nut characteristics, kernel characteristics, total grade, and yield to achieve 3 individual scores and an overall composite score. This criterion is used for black walnut, Persian walnut, butternut, shellbark and shagbark hickory, and pecans. The hazelnut criteria are slightly different and use a 10-nut sample instead of the standard 5. The whole process begins by properly identifying samples and assigning each a unique code that will follow the sample and the score sheet as it moves from station to station. From there, the 5-nut sample is taken to the cracking station, where the cracking assistant, or the designated crackman, grades the samples. Paul Demoto, professor and Iowa State University Extension fruit specialist in the Department of Horticulture, explains this initial step of the grading process.
What we're going to do is Al is going to, first of all, he's going to visually inspect them for the seal, and what we mean by the seal is on the suture, okay, that divides the halves. If you look at it, it can be, you should be tight, but sometimes it splits, and in fact I'm holding one that's split. He will also look at the appearance. Are they, uniform, the size, symmetric, smooth, and he'll score it 1, 2, 3. A 1 on any of these scores is the highest score you can get, okay, in these things. Then he will, next usability, he will begin the crack procedure, okay? And when we do crack, we want one person doing it because the leverage and how much leverage they put on. Too bad we can't have a load cell that we indicate exactly how much pressure we put on to a certain point. But he'll do that, and then you'll see usability, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 6. In other words, he'll crack them. If he has a defective nut, if all 5 are good, he scores it 1, okay? If he has to reach in the bag and pull another nut because one's bad, okay? In other words, what's bad? Shriveled, okay? Discolored, mold.
After the in-shell nut has been graded and cracked, it is sent to the weigh station, where the total weight of both kernels and shells is recorded. From there, the sample goes to the pickers, who separate into piles of first crack, second crack, and shells. The first crack refers to any kernel or kernel fragment that can be extracted by hand without the assistance of a nippers or nut pick. The second crack refers to kernels or kernel fragments that result from breaking down the shell structure with electrical nippers or side cutters. The pickers will then send the 2 samples, first crack and second crack, back to the weigh station to be tallied. The next station of the nut judging process is the evaluators. This is where whole kernels, halves, and quarters are tallied, color, veining, and shrivel are determined and scored, and average kernel size marked. The evaluators will calculate a total grade and yield. 3 scores are tabulated: the McDaniels, which favors big nuts, and the 2 Iowa formulas, Formula 1 and Formula 2. The only difference between them is that Iowa Formula 2 squares the percent kernel, thus weighting it more heavily. A final composite score is used to rank all samples. The Iowa Nut Growers Association annual evaluation provides growers from across Iowa the opportunity to submit samples in the never-ending quest for bigger and better nuts. Results of the evaluation, typically held in late January, are published in the newsletter with the samples available for viewing at the annual meeting usually held in late March or April. Visit iowanutgrowers.org to find out when next year's nut evaluation will take place. Funds for this project were provided by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Specialty Crops Block Grant Program through the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship. For more information or to become a member of the Iowa Nut Growers Association, visit our website at iowanutgrowers.org.